Trying to think if I give it access to uh, okay, hold on, yeah. Alright. Well, I'm gonna do a little test drive. Cameras required, which I've got going on right now. We're gonna hope I don't mess myself up on this one, which I don't know to do. So I'm gonna hold on. I'm basically recording myself because mhm. Okay, it's recording me as I'm streaming, so that's always a bonus, right? And then that's because whenever you hit download on any of the videos that you do on Substep Live, it doesn't actually preserve anything in HD mode. So, you know me, I have to go check to see if everything is up and running. So, mm-hmm. No thanks. Why does it be doing this to me? Why does it? Okay, host is already in there. Okay, well, I know that because dipshit, I'm there. So I'm just gonna do that. Open a new tab. Okay, so let's come over here. I have to check. Hold on. Okay, so you guys have a much broader um. What's going on? And furthermore, why is my shit spiraling? It's spinning. Well, I know that because dipshit, I'm there. So I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm going to try and see what it looks like for you guys because, like, per preview mode, visible on mobile, you guys. I mean, I guess the angle's good. We're good. We're fine. We're fine. Okay, the reason that I'm doing this is, I think what, who, what, when, where, why, all the things like that. Um, I kind of want to do like a year end, and don't get me wrong, it's this shit ain't over. Right, I know. I'm highly aware that we had till like January 1st, right? But that said, my year, my year now, they no longer really. I've said this. My days don't align. Half the time, I have to look at a calendar that's like on my computer, and I have to look at the time because like I have worked since I was like, I said this, I've worked since I was a kid, since I was like 14, 15 years old. And for any of my friends who have grown up in law firms, to be true, it to be true that I had effects using hand gestures. I'm not trying to do that. No. Um, we're always kind of tapped to be the unpaid help. So that said, I've had a year. Well, let me take it back. So November 19th, 2024 was it 19th or the 9th? I can't remember. It was one of those 2 days. That was the official last day that I worked. And, um, I've got, feelings about that and, presenter over like, "Oh, look at that. I can do all this kinda neat stuff. Hold on. Yeah, you have no idea what I'm doing, do you? And you don't care." Okay, anyway, I'm so sorry. I just spiraled. Let me bring my windows back. Come here. Come here. Anyway, I'm like shiny object syndrome looking over there. Hmm. Messed with my makeup there. By the way, no, I don't have a lot of makeup on, and this is I'm gonna because I've heard people talk some shit. I don't use copious amounts of filters. Um, However, I do use lipstick because if you ever see me without lipstick, I look kind of weird because I'm not going to refer to them or I'm not going to call them what people in high school gave me the nickname of. Let's just say I've got large lips and they look really weird if I don't have lip gloss or something on because it just looks like, yeah, it's not pretty. Plus, um, they're always chapped. So for all of the people out there who go and get lip fillers and shit like that, like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Because I know that shit can't be fun to deal with because I've been dealing with this my entire life and it's a pain in my ass. I can't even anyway. So the last day of work for me, right? I say I worked was November, like I said, 9th or 19th. And that was done because a series of events took place, and I've said this, that triggered my PTSD that I had been diagnosed with in 2020 by proxy of the all out like chaos and war I had to wage to make sure that my son was safe and that my son didn't make decisions he couldn't unmake. But this is not again, this is not why is this reversed? I'm a little mad. I'm not it's like flipped the wrong way and I don't like that. Which one's flipping it? Which one's flipping it? Hold on. I don't think it matters, if I'm being honest, but it really actually kinda annoys me that it's flipped. Camera sh I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Sorry, sidebar. Um, anyway, yeah, no, this blog is or not blog, uh, this Substack and project is not dedicated to that fight. And, just to touch on that, with the year shutting out or, you kind of coming to a close, my daughter, we have long suspected of being dyslexic. And she got in a car the other day and she got a report card and she went from being her happy-go-lucky self where she was masking and letting everybody at school think she was in a really good mood and nothing was wrong to being like, oh hell no, quick as soon as she got in my car. I've known no other version of my children than when they're mad or when they're sick. Because both of my children, for all of their isms, they're very well behaved kids. Shocker. I mean, my daughter, when I say she's feral, well, she is because you can tell her no, and she'll just look at you in the face and be like, and she'll just do it anyway. I'm like, I don't really consider that bad behavior because that's me to my core. Like my attorney says, don't do it, and I do it, and he's like, God damn it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, oops, I just hit the send button. My bad. And so that brings me to like, yeah. So she found out. She didn't find out. I finally had the conversation with her this week that she is dyslexic, and my dear friend Ashley wrote a book called D is for Dyslexia, and she has it for sale on Amazon. I should probably plug her book because it's the most adorable fucking book. Um, Let me see if I can find that link. I'm scared if I do this, like I'm gonna like always like bomb something. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try and get the link. and hopefully I don't kill everything in the process of trying to get said link, so please hold. I wanna get the link and put it in my comments because okay, hold on now. Mhm. There you go. What is going on? Stop. D. Um, you have to understand, like, I've got, like, a weird program, and so I run this thing. D is for dyslexia. There it is. Ah. Okay, so I'm gonna get the link for this because it's dead ass like the cutest little book. So I'm going to pin this in the comments or try to at least. This is my friend Ashley's book. It's in the comments. It's called D is for Dyslexia. And we got our physical copy of it yesterday. It's again, it's really funny because Ash and I don't have to talk. She just knows. And I she had no way of knowing that I was gonna have the conversation with my daughter this week. But the book arrived just in time. And, having a conversation with not one but two of your children to let them know that there's nothing wrong with their brain, there's nothing wrong with them. It's just a moment in time and, it'll be okay. That conversation is not fun. Never has been. Never will be. Because you're watching your, like, confident kid, well, only especially within my daughter's case, my overly confident daughter, um, you know, you watch her go from this just feral, like, "I can do whatever the hell I want to. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want to. I'm going to make all the art. I'm going to do all the things and show you just how good I can do it." What she does. I oftentimes, I'm still to this day trying to figure out where that came from. If I'm being honest, I have no idea where that came from. Other than my husband Loki has like a small amount of that in him. And I'm now realizing that the top of my head has been completely cut off. So please hold. I know you're getting a close shot of me if you don't want to. Hold on. Is that any better? I think it's a little bit better. No. What did I just do? Please hold. I'm gonna turn this off. Just a second. A little bit closer. Okay, can you see? No, see, look, bitch. Ah. Okay, I feel like that's better. It's much better. That's much better. Okay, I'm happy. Anyway, moving on. So I think like my daughter gets her confidence thing from my husband. And everyone's gonna anybody that knows my husband or anybody that knows the dynamic of my husband and I is gonna say bullshit. Because it appears on the surface that it's me that has all the confidence. That's not true. I've got like that. I've got like shit self esteem, but it's not for pity reasons. I would say it's because I've got imposter syndrome. And, November happened, November came and went, and I remember, you know, I had to take I took FMLA, which was approved within 5 minutes of me submitting the request. N They wanted me gone that badly. So, it was approved. It was approved through the individuals I worked for directly. and then it was approved through my benefit company, which hi you. Um, so everything was approved for me to take FMLA. Oh yeah, you're getting your benefits. HR had like done their thing, said yes, 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 yes. Just so immediately upon me being approved for FMLA, I spent from November until the week before I was supposed to go back fighting with the benefit company that I had been paying into for a decade, right? Benefits. I got into a fight for a year. I was at well, not a year, for that that time, on FMLA. They told me that I could not be given or, graced with benefits that they 100% approved upon telling me that I qualified for FMLA and that HR had submitted the paperwork. They had the approval from my direct report. You're gonna be great. I've got all of this on recording. Yet, you know, instead of being given that time off to heal appropriately from all the fuck shit I've had to deal with, I spent that time fighting with the benefits company or the conglomerate of benefits company over my benefits that they refused to give me. And then I spent that time while I was not supposed to even be engaging with these people babysitting because they did a in-depth or they were supposed to have done an in-depth investigation into a series of events that had taken place. Yeah. Well, let's just say that when you're a woman in corporate America, especially where I worked, they don't give a shit. In fact, I can say this because I'm not naming names. In fact, they breached their own ethics, everything, because they were so desperate to get rid of me. Instead of investigating the fuck shit, they started contacting former directors of mine who didn't even work at the company anymore, which is out of violation with the protocol um, at that company and even the benefits company. So they were reaching out to former directors of mine, desperately trying to get dirt on me and failed miserably. And to that, you know, you're lucky those folks haven't done what they wanted to do. Um, and that's how I found out that there was a smear campaign taking place as I was on FMLA for PTSD that had been triggered outside of work. I mean, I can't tell you how many times my provider, my physician, literally submitted the paperwork repeatedly stating this is not because of the one incident at work. But no, yeah, that definitely contributed to helping, expedite the fact that she's no longer able to drive because at any moment she can have a rage flare. So that's how I went from having a very financially stable life with amazing insurance benefits and all the things to nothing within one mistake that is 100% on me. But I always take the blame for it. I always take the blame that this is my fault because I had the audacity to apply for a promotion that I deserved and that they wanted to give me. And due to that, we lost everything, or at least I lost everything. And so for me to not have a job for a year is really weird. I've gone without work in the past, but it's never lasted more than 6 months ever. And even those times were just from random. So in one of those stints, it was because the employer who I worked for, that we built the infrastructure for Blackwater and their communication and yeah, that employer, the one that I reported to the FBI and Coast Grabs and all that. Um, Yeah, I was only off work for, like, 6 months, but with that, like, it was okay. Like, I really didn't mind because I never had the ability to have time off with my child, like, just chill with him and be able to, do the mom thing, like take him to the park and go do all the fun stuff. I never had that afforded to me. So, I enjoyed it. But then it was like, "Okay, it's August. I've gotta have a job." And I tried and tried and tried not to get a job within the arena of what I've done for 30 years, and nonetheless, I still ended up back in that arena. I think I was there for, like, so from August until right before Christmas. I got no, August to getting poached by my former employer, in November, of, I think, 2014. So, yeah, my friend worked there, and he was a high school friend of mine, and his mother worked there, and they were hiring, and he got me a job there, and that's how I landed in corporate America. It's not like I didn't wanna be there. Um, but I got found out quickly within that environment that I was not just somebody who was, I was hired as an administrative assistant. I was desperate to get out of IT. I was desperate to get out of programming. I was desperate to get out of, like, having to deal with stupid questions being hurled my way repeatedly. Like, oh my God, just do a hard reset on your in device or your computer. Put your finger on the power button, hold it there for 10 seconds, and then let me know if that, I mean, like, that was my life, like, all the time. And I was really tired of having to do, these just I had to roll out SQL, programming, or one of our programs that we use at my company that was ported to the feds because of me. I was really exhausted with having to, like, work 4 days a week and, you know, only to we weren't compensated for overtime. It was a salary position, and we would be working literally from 7 a.m. and, like, um, in the morning, and would be expected to get back online after we were done. We were expected to get online at, like, 2 a.m. to roll out whatever we were rolling out to whatever customer. So I've done everything from rolling these things out to, meaning the software, and I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to fucking send or what or any of that. Let's just say it wasn't easy. But we had to sit there and watch it painfully go through, like, piss poor internet speeds. And, we were moving people from the local to the cloud, and then I was tasked with programming the connector between the local and cloud. So, I was tasked with creating 2 databases that sync together, and that was called replication. And, let me tell you how not fun that was, learning how to and get certified and get, a s these aren't it's not really a degree. I don't know what the word to call it is, but I definitely got numerous, I'm certified in numerous things that, it's not degrees, but it's the most boring bullshit you're ever gonna partake in, and it's because I already know it, but yet to be in compliance with all of these things, I had to partake in the fuckery. In hindsight, you know, they paid a lot of money for me being in compliance to do a lot of things. Like, I don't know, be um government clearance. Yeah. So that's been there for a long time. Anyway, spending this, like, amount of time without a job has been very weird. I think I have experienced every emotion under the sun. Um, you know, by doing that, I, for the first time in my life, have been able to heal appropriately. So, when I was first diagnosed with PTSD induced by the then superintendent in my former school district. I didn't miss a day of work. I just continued going to work every day. Put my head down, got what I needed to get done, had my phone in my hand all at all times because I had to make sure that my son was okay. And I've said this in other videos, but like I was more concerned about my son who was 12, no, 10, than I was concerned. I had no concerns for my daughter who was in, I think maybe, who was like a year old, if not 16. I don't even know. I mean, she was extremely young and I had no worries about her because she was with good humans. But I was more worried about what was happening to my son, and so I had, like, this stipulation at work. Everybody knew, like, I could be attached to my phone at all times because at any moment, shit could pop off, and I would have to, like, pack my shit up, leave, go get my kid, and or go wreck somebody for fucking with my kid. And then everybody knew that, like, I would I would be in I would be in, like, 6-hour IEP meetings working. Because I got so mad at these people. I was like, "Ain't no way in hell you getting any more of my PTO. So I'm gonna just bring my laptop here. You're gonna let me on your network, and Imma work." Actually, I didn't use their network. I hotspotted from my phone. Um, so yeah, I just sat in IEP meetings. I worked as I listened to a bunch of people say a bunch of stupid shit repeatedly over and over and over again. Which, whatever. Um, I've never healed from that PTSD. That first batch of it. I just like I said, I put my head down. I continued to work because historically, just women aren't really afforded to take care of their mental health. We are tasked with societal norms that men will never have to do. And this is not me being a feminist asshole. This is me just saying that women we don't get any time off. So if anything happens in our life, um, we're not afforded normalcy. If we lose somebody close to us, we have to actually take PTO, and, bereavement. So, in corporate America, they call it bereavement, but in other local areas, you don't even get the fucking ability to take time off to go mourn somebody you've lost. Um, so I've never had the time to I've never been gifted the ability to take time off and to navigate everything that I've been blessed with, meaning my mental health and all the things that I've had to endure just to act, I don't know, just appear as if I were normal and had my shit together, which I 100% did not. Because every day I would leave work and I would go pick my son up and he would have a panic attack in the car. The moment he got in the car, he would have a panic attack. And I would immediately like spend from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. every night on the phone with a litany of administrators in that district, just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like, the whole time. My husband would, like, bring me my dinner in my bedroom. He was giving me my and, that's just how it was on the last year of us being in public schools. So, got diagnosed my son was diagnosed with PTSD, then I was diagnosed with PTSD right after him. And then, like, the hits just kept coming, and then we said, "Fuck it." We went into the legal proceedings to get my child out. The district dragged their heels from January all the way out until May of 2020. In hindsight, that's actually the quickest I've ever gotten out, or guilt, like, meaning the quickest I've ever done anything legal-wise with that district. That's kinda fucked up, right? Um, so during this year that I've been not only able to process my mental health appropriately, address it appropriately, sit in it appropriately, come to terms with a lot of things in my life that I mistakenly blamed on other events. Um, I did that, and then only to be depressed or not depressed, diagnosed with a form of depression that's essentially chronic depression, again, which was thrust onto me because, again, women aren't afforded the ability to stop. We have to keep going, it doesn't matter. And I'm not blaming men. That's just how society works. Women are not afforded the ability to take any time off to take care of themselves, and so it essentially stemmed from the fact that I had lost so many people in my life, especially my friends. Um, I'd lost so many friends. I had become numb. I didn't have emotions when I lost them. I didn't cry, nothing. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, here we go." And half the time I was triaging, the entire family, and I was protecting the entire family from whatever bullshit was on social media, whatever bullshit was being hurled towards them. I was always the person that was, taking care of the family as well. And then there were all the orphan kids that I got by proxy of my friends dying. There's this clip of myself and Kareem Weaver at the Black Literacy Matters conference last year, where it was right at the end, and I kind of got heated, because he asked, he's like, "That's who you advocate to, but who do you advocate with?" And I said, "I don't have them anymore." And he said, "Okay, well," and I was like, "Look, I don't have enough time in my day to sit there and worry about the little things. I'm trying to triage, or I'm trying to stop the pipeline to prison. I'm trying to stop mass incarcerations. I've got orphan kids that are that come to me, um, by proxy of their parents taking their lives or their parents succumbing to the bad parts of this illiteracy issue, meaning, like, my friends were never afforded the appropriate method of, making sure everything was taken care of, um, as it pertains to their dyslexia. So, all the scary statistics that I inherently jump to and take care of first, like, that played out on repeat with me. And so I am usually deemed a disruptor or a bull in a china shop or something of that nature because when I'm advocating, I'm not advocating because of clicks, like, shares. I'm advocating because I know that that's a kid's life, and that's going to be the trajectory of that child's life. So, yeah, I'm rough around the edges, and I give no fucks about whatever narrative is out there. And because I know that at the end of the day, I can go to sleep knowing that I did something to make sure that that mom won't lose her child, and that their child will be there in the morning when they wake up. But that's what I've been processing in this year that I've been off. I've been processing, just a life of trauma, a life of how did I get here? What the fuck did I do? I thought we were supposed to be see something, say something. Maybe that's because I'm Gen X and that's just how we were raised. At no point did anybody, and this is, I think this is the hardest part. All of these people who have come to me, like, that have a lot of money that I've helped just out of me being me. Um, like, for, ex- for example, there's a whole foundation out there who, you know, love using my son's face and his story, for their fundraising. And then loved picking my brain, and then, and engaging with me in how to save their own ass because somebody had fucked them up and fucked them over. And so, like, yeah, people routinely call me to save them, and they've got all the fucking money. I'm like, why the fuck are you coming to a mom? You go fucking sue them. But I've got plenty of people in my life who have the ability to give me a job and do what good humans typically would do, but I digress. I have learned over this year that my idea of a good human has now been shrunk, right? Because these individuals who know that they could hire me and have the ability to hire me always say, "Well, I don't have enough money for you." I'm like, "You don't even know how much I fucking make or am asking because you never allowed me to say it. And furthermore, you keep saying you're hiring people just like me and you're training them just like to be me. Fuck you." Um, so those people that I held to a higher standard and literally got duped by thinking that they were good humans, they sat back and they watched as I was taken out completely. Everything that I had done to change the trajectory of lives of children in the state of Georgia, um, all of my hard work was taken. And when I say taken, it was taken. And when I say, I mean, like, to the point that I still live rent free in their fucking heads. But what I got to see this year, though, was when a conference came to Georgia that I was asked to present at by the director of said conference or said organization. He asked me to create the anti panel to what he knew he was going to be met with once he set foot back in the state of Georgia. I said, fuck you, no. So, what everybody got to see in real time was that I at no time was the problem. They were all living their best life at the conference, and there I was stuck at home dealing with a school district that was burning down, and the school district is full of only maybe 5% white kids. And within my former life, we have this saying called "all means all." Meaning until all kids can read. That's their slogan. The fucking irony. Because at no point did they give a shit. All means all never meant all means all. It means if you have the money to pay these attorneys that they're attached to, yeah. But because I said, "Fuck that," that's not how it works, and when I say all means all, I mean that, and so I was stuck at home with this fucking district burning to the goddamn ground and me triaging all these fucking triaging all of the media, people calling me, triaging email after email after email, message after message after message. The district starting to lash out. Literally every parent attached to me, every single parent that I have worked with in that district, the district immediately began retaliating against them strategically, one by one. Within 2 weeks, I had every single mom that I've ever helped in that district let me know that they were fucking with their kid. One of my mamas, whose child is on the spectrum and dyslexic, who is attending, a school literally designed for that. Um, he attends, Tapestry. Yeah, so they literally told my mom straight to her face, to that mom, "Oh my," and, I'm gonna refer to her as Exhibit G because she is an exhibit in a jury trial. So Exhibit G said, "Well, it looks like your son's brain, I mean, mama, you should be happy. It appears that your son's brain has healed." I'm going, she said, "What?" And, and they Exhibit G decided to take the IEP away from mom, even though mom said, "You know what? Fuck you," and she ended the meeting. It's not legal to continue the decision making once the mom has said, "No, I'm tabling the meeting. We can come back," and or in this case with my friend, she said, "Fuck you," and walked. But I digress. His brain held. Exhibit G knows that's not possible. She knows it's not physically possible. She still said it. Um, oh, and Exhibit H, her second in command, yeah, she said it too. So Exhibit G and Exhibit H both said it. Yes, they are all oh, wait, I shouldn't oh, no, I'm not gonna go down there. I will say yeah. So they went after her, and then they went after another mom of mine who I had ironically filed a systemic complaint because I knew this shit had been going on since August, and then she let me know that it was still going on, and I was like, "Oh, I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done. I've been engaged in this fuck shit with this district since April, and now these motherfuckers wanna wild out and just violate everything? No, fuck you." And so I filed a systemic complaint. And upon filing that systemic complaint, where I at no time gave anybody's name, because I knew if I gave a name, they would retaliate. I did not give a name. Not one, not once. Not even to the investigator. I told the investigator they are retaliating against my parents, and I'm not going to give you a fucking name. I'm sorry. You're going to have to investigate this, and you're going to have to do so with the data I'm sending you. And you have to understand this is district wide. This is not just one cluster. This is happening all over the fucking district. And so I gave no names. Yet the district immediately 2 days later or a day later, this child that I know him and his mother. His mom she can handle business, her own business, but I filed it on behalf of all the other kids whose parents were spiraling and didn't want to say anything because they knew if they said something that their kids were at risk of being retaliated against and that, being blessed with some bullshit like my kid. So they didn't want to say anything. And I'm like, so you just letting your kid be fucking like ripped of their educate? I'm sorry. There's a thing called FAPE that they're mandated to provide. Does that ring a bell? No. Okay, cool. So I filed and within a day, all of a sudden this baby that, has never been a behavior problem and has never gotten in trouble, yeah, definitely got graced with some bullshit in front of his peers in the very class that the systemic complaint stemmed from. And it turns out it's because the individual who was one of the rotating subs in that classroom was friends with Exhibit G and Exhibit H. So they went after that mom. And that when I say they went after that mom, they went after the kid. Yeah. They went after the fucking kid for no reason. He didn't do anything, but they did what they did to her son what they had done to my son, verbatim. And then there's my mama who has twins that I fought hell and high water for and like fought tooth and nail to make sure we're okay. And then they had the fucking audacity to fuck with them. Like, it was so bad because that was right in that window where I was supposed to be, like, behaving because, "Oh, we have a global resolution. We need to settle." Behave. I'm like, "Okay." I tried to behave, and I was like, "Okay, well, I can't go to the IEP meeting, but I'm damn sure not gonna allow you to attend the meeting alone because I know the fuck shit they're pulling with my other parents, so, yeah, I'm sending in somebody with you." So my friend Kirk went in my place, and I can't tell you how much Kirk hates attending IEP meetings, but he went, and, I didn't even hear a peep about it until later, and when I found out that Kirk tried to table the meeting at the beginning of the meeting because they didn't even have the data that was needed for one of my twins, I was like, "Oh?" And mom just decided she wasn't going to tell me? And so I finally got in touch with mom and she let me know everything that happened. And when I found out that mom did exactly what she knows to do because, as she likes to say, she went to LT University. So it wasn't her first rodeo. She immediately started saying, "Where's the fucking data to prove this? What can you go give me can you give me the amount of hours that you owe my child in comp ed now because you failed to fulfill her IEP?" Because this teacher has been MIA for like 6 weeks now, and it's just been a rotating door of substitutes who aren't qualified to work with my child. Well, they couldn't answer her question. And immediately upon her saying that, all of a sudden they were like, hold on. And so then they started to call in administrators into her meeting, which is the dumbest thing to do with her, and especially with the individual who was in the meeting with her, Kirk. Quickest way to get fucked up. If you think I'm bad in a meeting, no. Kirk will fuck you up worse. Kirk and I both live, eat, breathe special ed. That's what we do. And so now, mind you, all of this is taking place right as the dipshit is indicted. Yeah. So, oh, Jason Estevez, fuck off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bad reaction. I have these like verbal reactions anytime I see Jason Estevez like giving a shit about Metal Georgia because that motherfucker don't step foot outside of the city. Anyway, so sorry. All of this was happening in tandem with Devon Horton being indicted, which okay, but also was happening as they were swearing in the acting superintendent. Now, guess what department the acting superintendent was over? Mhm. Student services. Student support services. Exhibit G and Exhibit H worked for him. Exhibit G now has that position that he used to hold. So when I filed my systemic complaint and all this shit was popping off, so the day that their boy Horton was in court, I was made aware by the Georgia DOE they had found it sufficient to investigate. And so all I did was what I was legally obligated to do. And I was like, "Oop, as an FYI, they have found this sufficient to investigate. Here's your notification," which is legal. That's the legal process here in Georgia. I was met with 6 attorneys. I was met as a mom. As a mom, I was met with 6 attorneys. Don't speak to anybody in the district other than me. Every single board rep was in that email. So it was the superintendent, or the now interim superintendent. So was Exhibit G and Exhibit H. And imagine me, I'm going, oh, did you wake up today and choose stupid? Because you just sent 6 attorneys at me. The last time somebody in the district did that to me, that didn't end up well at all. In fact, I think I've now just gotten to the point where I'm just gonna say, "Fuck the system, fuck the protocols, because y'all done proven y'all don't give a fuck about settling shit. Because you keep asking me to fucking commit a felony, I'm gonna go do what I do." So I did. And that's how I found out about the fact that the foundations in the district accurate. So this kind of plays into what I posted last night, like my long post, which is going to be a series of posts of like the fuck shit that I've found out because they've had 10 months to. I've had 10 months to fester. They've given me 10 months to fester, which has allowed me to collect recorded phone calls from attorneys, video evidence of meetings held with individuals who still have a job in the district who 100% fucking admitted they did it and they know about it and they weren't going to stop it. Um, Copious amounts of data that I didn't want to fucking see, but it's all public. And then, oh, let me see. I think there's upwards of 15 federal lawsuits and all the dockets that I downloaded and read and was like, oh my fucking God, what is going on? Now, for them to have 15 plus federal lawsuits, that's excessive. And the things that were in those lawsuits, oh, you know, the only reason I haven't posted those dockets has everything to do with I'm trying to show a little bit of restraint. a little. But that's also, like, one of the 3 final 3, um you're what? Hold on, let me drop these receipts things, so that's why I haven't posted this publicly. But I can 100%, without a shadow of a doubt state that, yeah, they're in 2 jury trials right fucking now, including the interim superintendent and Exhibit G and Exhibit H. But, yeah. So the person in the district who has historically fucked you up via social media, dragged you, had not 1 but 2 board reps fuck with you and get folks fired because my board reps knew if I came to them, I'd already vetted my shit. And they were like, "What?" So when I found out about the fuck shit going on with the foundations, meaning that, like, the foundations weren't filing their 990s. Hi, Ash. Anyway, I found out all of these foundations within the district aren't filing their 990s. These are 501(c)(3)s. The 990s state you must file taxes every year. Here's your EIN. Here's your status, blah, 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 right? Now, the way the PACs and the PTSAs and the PTOs and the district run, or as they now refer to them as school councils per board policy, the way they run is that the money is to go directly into the foundation's bank account. Now, imagine my shock and awe when the mom that they fucked with, who belongs to me, makes me aware that, hey, they're doing that thing again where they're not going to let kids participate in the rally if they didn't like make a certain score on maps. I was like, oh, they're doing what? Didn't we get them in trouble? I'm sorry, didn't somebody in the district actually like make a rule about that last year? Because they did it last year? Yeah. So I found out and I started pulling all of the 990s. I started going through all the foundations. I'm like, what the fuck? This cluster right here alone has so much fucking money. Fuck you. You're literally lying and you're out of violation with a bunch of shit. And then I see one foundation that's got like damn near $1 million. And I'm like, okay, do we have guardrails in place at all? Because why does that school need $1 million in their fucking foundation? They're already the privileged golden child school in the district. What the fuck do they need that money? Sorry. I don't. Finding the foundation shit out of everything that I've come across was literally like the most DeKalb County thing I've ever fucking seen in my life. Because, you know, fucking around with money and make it go and making it disappear is what DeKalb County does. I mean, like I said, I got a photo. My board reps are different. For my region, they don't give a fuck. So my board rep, who rolled off the board because she'd proven her fucking point. I mean, goddamn, I got a fucking photo of her standing next to Horton, and then she got a big old grin on her face because he had to admit that $200 million was still fucking missing. And then the one before that, Sam Jester, was extremely vocal, and he and I are from the same field of what we do for a living. And so he understood the ramifications of all the shit that was going on with all these contracts and like how much they were spending on attorneys and shit like that. So like that man moved heaven and earth to make sure that folks got wrecked and got fired based off of all the shit that I found. So I yeah, so I will say that, like, most of my year that I've been, forced into not working, um, at first I was mad, then I was depressed, then I was just I don't even know what feeling to attach to that other one was. I was disassociating, I was doing all kind of things that, like, I typically didn't do, but I now know, all these months out that, like, yeah, no, that was actually the healing process. That was my brain healing appropriately and being allowed to heal, if that makes sense. So while I would love to be financially stable, while I would love to have the money to go do a last minute, run to go get my kids more gifts for Christmas, I can't. Because my shithead former employer proactively blocked me with the Georgia Department of Labor as well. No big deal, right? But I want to wrap around to something though. This is the most important part that I've learned this year, and I'm glad Ash is on here too. Is that all of these people who routinely came to me to have me help them under the guise that I was their friend, and I'm not even talking about decoding Georgia. I'm not talking about IDA. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm talking about these other people that literally I lended my child to so they could raise money for their foundation, right? And then a conference that basically Ashley and I broke the mold because they had never allowed parents to have a say, and we had a say. Um, these motherfuckers sat back this entire time watching my life be ripped to fucking shreds. All because I saw something and said something and had the fucking audacity to do something as simple as apply for a promotion. No one that I have helped who has millions of fucking, and I'm talking millions. One of the individuals has a house in a state where that house is worth $9 million. She One of the vacation homes, which I've stayed at, so I can say this, that house sold for, I think, $5 million, and she now owns a house up in another state, which is in the millions as well. Okay, so I'm the person that she came to the most, as well as Ashley, when she needed to vent and everything else. Where the fuck? What the fuck? So she sat there and watched all of it. And she's like, "Oh my God, Lauren, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Bitch, if you say that to me one more time." And she kept saying it. So I was like, "Okay, block." I blocked her. I blocked her foundation. I blocked absolutely everybody who had ever worked for her, who works for her. I don't give a fuck. They don't get to live rent free in my head. All I can hope for is that I'm living rent free in their heads, or especially hers, because she could have stepped in and stopped it. She could have stepped in and stopped the hemorrhaging and actually paid me my worth for everything I did for her and her foundation. And then the other one, who is literally funded by the person that founded American Doll. Is it, yeah, American Girl, American Law? My daughter has them. Yeah, they get their money not from grants from the feds. They get their money from that rich person. And they just sat and they watched my life get destroyed and didn't give a fuck. Hmm. But through all of that, there's been one constant. And that constant is Ash, who we have definitely seen the Ashley and I have definitely seen the ups and the downs in each other's lives as it pertains to our careers, as it pertains to the fuck shit hurled our way all the time, unsolicited, because we're not out here, we're not advocating anymore, so we don't even know why the fuck we met with this kind of energy. But um, there's that, and then there's also, I I've come to peace with my place, and my place is not within the literacy arena. And the irony is that I've got people that still say, "No, you actually do need to be in this space. We can't afford not to have you in this space." And that's what I meant by when I wasn't at the conference in October, because I was buried with a school district full of children who had just gotten fucked over by yet another superintendent because the board is woefully inadequate and they just fuck everything up. I was stuck at home building all of that fuck shit, and I was literally like, I had set all this shit up, and everybody was like, "Lauren, where are you?" Like, so everybody from the Black Literacy Matters conference, and like, they were like, "Where are you? Where are you?" I'm like, I can't come. I'm sorry. Shit happened, and I am having to triage it." Not one of the privileged bitches that were at the conference and seen on party buses wilding out because, that's what they do. Not one of these bitches who claims to be all means all gave a fuck about the Cobb County kids. Not one. And so when I say I didn't have to drop the receipts on all the ways that they are fucking ridiculous and hypocritical and all does not mean all, they did it them fucking selves. They showed everybody. I didn't even have to do it because Clarice and Dr. Tracy Weeden and Dr. Julie Washington, all of these people were like, "Where the fuck are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of stuck." And when they found out the reason that I wasn't there, they all got extremely upset and they were all pissed. And, you know, the reason that I was brought out to the Black Literacy Conference last year in March was because Clarice knew, and she'd been watching, she knew that I had been wronged and that this entire community of people that I have at some point helped along with Ash and others, I need to get that shit off from because I'm tired of hearing that goddamn beep. Sorry. So you know, she was watching, and when I came out there, which again I didn't have plans to do. She's like, "Yeah, well, sometimes we have to reach out, and this is one of those times where you need to be around your people, and you need to be out here with us, and we need to make sure you're okay. We need to have our eyes on you. We need to make sure you're okay because we have watched what's happened, and nobody locally has stepped in to help you at any time, and you're still fighting for kids, and you have nothing." So they brought me out there, and they don't really have any kind of monetary attachment to me. I've never generated money for them. It's solely just been my work. That's that's it. It's solely just been the fact that they know I stay in the trenches and that I'm the one on the ground and I'm the one actually doing all the fucking work. I'm not out here for clicks, likes, shares, and all that shit. And that's the only reason that they are so fucking protective of me is because I don't care about all the other shit. All I give a fuck about is the kids, specifically black and brown children in my state and in my district. Because again, all does not mean all unless you're one of the fucking chosen ones. I got that fucking receipt from one of the richest ones on one of those stupid fucking clubs that I had at some point been associated with, not because I wanted to, but because they solicited my fucking services. So go fuck yourselves. Oh my god, it feels so good to say that. I'm so sorry that that was petty, Ash. I'm so sorry. I know I shouldn't do that, but that just felt so fucking good to say that. Anyway, and I hope they see it because I do know that they're stalking me on here. It's been fun watching that. So I'm gonna get to where I'm going with this whole like what this year has allowed me to see, what I've accepted, what I've learned, and what I've accepted is this. The reason that I shut down when I was an 8-year-old child and built this wall around me to protect me from pieces of shit. I should have never ever dropped that fucking wall. I should have never allowed individuals into my fucking life that I didn't trust and that I didn't know. But I did. Because as a mom of a child on an IEP, we're always lonely. We are always trying to find our clan or our people. But within doing so, I made a fundamental mistake that I can't blame on anybody other than me. And that mistake was I trusted people that I should have never trusted. And given the opportunity to come in and do the right thing, they chose the opposite. Me, however, routinely chose them, routinely went out of my way to make sure they were okay, routinely went out of my way to cover their messiness up and to make sure nobody knew how fucking ridiculously privileged and I mean, like, mm, entitled fuck shit is the only word to describe what I did for them. I covered that up. I covered the drinking up. I covered the alcoholism up. I covered I'm in a really fucking bad relationship, but I'm just going to stay here because I've been here and, my husband makes fucking millions and why would I want to leave this life? But yet all I do is sit here and bitch and moan about how he says things to me. And then proceeded to sell our house for $9 million. But again, I learned over the year, I should have never dumped my wall. I learned that there are people I can lean in on. I learned that there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. I learned that there are lessons in life that I thought I'd already learned that I had no fucking idea about. None. I learned just I've always known that Medicaid and Medicare, or Medicaid specifically in the South, was just abhorrent and broken. I got a front row seat to that. It's because when we lost our insurance in January of 25, it took until, November for them to give my kids peach care. Yeah, food stamps, all that. These are things that I've never in my life been a fan of wanting to seek out, and I can't state that enough. My pride and my work ethic does not still to this day, does not condone that. I'm not comfortable with that, but that's where we're at. The economy sucks. What I do for a living is not exactly something that's just easy to get a job in because at any given moment that landscape can change. The idea that people don't give a shit about data privacy right now, by the way, the conversation on I made a post on Threads, right? Where I was like, PSA, if you've still got TikTok on your phone, get it the fuck off because of the individuals who have now purchased it, right? Why the fuck would you willingly keep that on your phone knowing that that's going to the Oompa Loompa's best friend? And furthermore, take that and then take all the data that Musk stole with his little friends, right? Combine that shit together. Now, if you want to be somebody that wants your shit tracked and you want everything that you say harvested and kept, fine. But as I've demonstrated with the complaints that I've hurled off this week, and with the 2-hour video I'm going to post after this, where I show everybody how easy it is for these government agencies to track your every fucking move. I don't know. I don't understand I don't understand why people are like, oh, well, our parents signed the Patriot Act. I'm like, hold on. You do know, even though they signed the Patriot Act, that does not mean that you waive carte blanche your fucking ability to have a life that doesn't include being profiled, have your shit stolen, what happened. No, that's not what that was about. in fact, actually, I'm gonna look that up real quick because that's kinda got me fucked up. Hold on, I gotta oh, shit, hold on, let me come back to this. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. I'm gonna look real quick. I wanna look it up because I wanna see what the fuck they're talking about because, like, I'm like, "The fuck?" Oh my god, my keyboard. I can't type. There it is. Alright. I'm just looking at the Patriot Act right now. It says that the USA Patriot Act uniting and strengthening America by providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism was legislation passed after 9/11, expanding government surveillance and investigative powers to fight terrorism, allowing easier monitoring of communications, information sharing between agencies. Um, hold on. And tracking financial flows, but sparking major debates over civil liberties and privacies, with key provisions expiring or being reformed over time. Hold on. I'm just gonna put the timeline out here. I just wanna see the timeline. Because this is the funny shit. Hold on, what's that? No, snooze. Sorry, is uh, for example, Microsoft Edge just picked up on the fact that I'm talking about fucking data privacy and just sent me a goddamn notification. Mhm. But sure, yeah, no, it's fine. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I do want us to get to this part though. Enhanced surveillance, expanded wiretapping, electronic communications monitoring, and sneak and peek, delayed notifications, searches for law enforcement. Information sharing. It broke down laws between intelligence and enforcement agencies to connect the dots on potential threats. Potential threats. Updated laws, modernized surveillance laws for the digital age, covering internet and store communications like email and voicemail. Financial tracking, increased penalties. So everything listed in here, mass surveillance. Okay, so when I'm talking about Clear ID, and the fact that DeKalb County entered into a contract with Thomas Reuters Clear ID, right? They solicited it. It was not a public bid. They solicited this in October of 2023, right? Again, the word chronic absenteeism was not in the landscape of Georgia poll at the time. So everything they said as to support the purchase of a government fucking contract like Thomas Reuters Clear ID is null and void because that conversation wasn't even fucking there in 23. But I digress. That's the first thing that they did when they got into the district with Horton and her and all the fucking idiots he brought with him. That's what they did. So it's literally talking about the uh, mass surveillance. Edward Snowden's disclosures revealed programs like bulk phone records collection under Section 215 that performed the mass surveillance. Debate continues on. So, evolution. The act was signed. All right, key word. The act was signed by President Bush in October 2001 and reauthorized with changes in 2006. Key sections like 215 were allowed to expire. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let me get to this part. This is the best part. Okay, you want to know the best part? Guess who implemented all the fuck shit when it comes to modernizing it to track every fucking thing you do on your phone and all your devices? Guess who did that, boys and girls? It was not George Bush. It was not the GOP. The Patriot Act was signed and created. There was limited things in that. So all these little fucking millennials and Gen Zers on social media trying to clap back at me right now. I'm like, oh, y'all are cute because apparently y'all didn't do your fucking y'all didn't study because if you would go look at the Patriot Act and you go look at the timeline of events and who signed what and who fucking started that whole like we're gonna do the U.S. espionage bullshit where we actually surveil U.S. citizens and we collect their shit via everything they say on their fucking phone. We listen to their conversations, all that. Yeah, that was codified under Obama. You fucking dipshits. That was codified under Obama, and then it was codified again, strengthened again after the January 6th fuck shit that took place under the Oompa Loompa. Guess who strengthened it and put more bullshit out there to surveil U.S. citizens? The Biden Harris administration. Why, you ask? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Well, I'll just say this. They're profiling citizens to see if you have, what was that? What did that nice CIA lady say, and during Georgia poll, in last year regarding the school safety bill here in Georgia that stemmed from Uvalde and ja a bunch of shit in Texas. What did she say here in Georgia? Oh, I'm sorry. So, she said, I worked for the CIA for 25 years prior to this position, and what we know as it pertains to school shooters is that we have a partial profile, but by implementing this will allow us to get a complete and robust profile of who may be a school shooter. The nice little CIA lady said that. She is the head of HHS here in Georgia. And when she said that, I was like, "Oh, so we just wilding out doing this? So a state that's all about local rights and we don't let the government in our fucking business, we okay with CIA lady over here saying that shit?" Not really, because like I said, and I will die on this hill, not my boys, not my GOP boys. They were like, "Hell no, lady," and they started going sideways at her. But I digress, the bill passed, and so when it comes to data privacy, and when it comes to this past year, and when it comes to everything that I do, and everything I've done, and everything I've experienced, what I've learned is that my brain is never going to make sense to anybody else. My ability to put things together within seconds is not something that anybody is ever going to understand. Furthermore, trying to explain how I was able to piece it together is like pulling fucking teeth. I would rather go and have every fucking tooth in my head pulled without anesthesia than have to dumb myself down to explain to people who should fucking know what I'm talking about. But I digress. Yeah. I found that out this year. So this whole imposter syndrome thing that I've carried around with me for a long time regarding the fact that I didn't graduate high school, I didn't go to college, but I damn sure started working, and have been working since I was, like I said, 14, but officially at 18 years old, I was making more money as a waitress than most people make in corporate America because I took the night shift. I worked from 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. The drunker people got, the more money you got in tips. So I made a lot of fucking money. More money than any 18-year-old should be making. Um, you know, and that's another whole sidebar. I think everybody should be forced into being in the service industry before they go work with people. Gives you insight into how to read people. And your spidey senses are always correct. Your gut is always correct. Always trust your first impression. Don't ever fucking doubt your first impression. That's another key takeaway from this year. And like I said, my imposter syndrome, because of not graduating high school and not going to college, pretty much null and void now. When I've got attorneys that are reading over my complaints, going, "What the fuck? Like, how did you write this? How did you even understand to put this together as if it was done by an attorney? This looks like a docket that somebody would file." I kind of take offense to that, but at the same time, it proves my point. No, school ain't for everybody. This year, I think I have been able to prove without a shadow of a doubt. Just because I didn't graduate high school and didn't go to college doesn't mean I'm stupid. It meant that I was not being educated in a way that my brain wanted to engage with. True story. And the whole reason that my son bucked at, because he's, oh, my baby boy, by the way, he's taking, oh, the DOJ is dropping some more Epstein files. Cool. Anyway, not really, because it's just nothing but Bill Clinton getting his, I don't know if you saw the hot tub photo, but I'm just saying, like, if that shocks anybody, yo, y'all weren't around for the Clinton years, obviously, but we all know what Clinton did. I mean, shit. Um, yeah, so my imposter syndrome's gone. I know I can do all the things that I ever wanted to do, and I've had it, stamped by people, but my son unwillingly, it's not really unwillingly. We had to have a conversation with him this summer regarding like what he was going to take, as it pertains to a language for college credit, and computer science came up, and of course his mommy was like, "You're taking that." To which my son said, Do I not get a say in this?" He said, I was like, I mean, I guess you kind of do, but what is your rationale for the other one? What are you going to do with ASL? What are you going to do with sign language?" I'm like, yeah, it's fun to have, but I've never once seen you use it. So computer science definitely needs to be the route we take. Well, mom, you know how I feel about STEM, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, for the last fucking time, computer science is not STEM. Computer science is a broad term, very broad term that encapsulates a lot of shit. So at first, they sent, and I'm not bashing my kids' school or anybody. I'm just like, I laughed because when they sent me like what curriculum was going to be used, and I'm going, "You gonna do what?" I'm like, "Okay, so you want my son to use that?" I'm gonna let you know right now, my son, once he hears that, is gonna buck, and y'all can't say a damn word. So I told my son what they were going to be using, and my son said, "I'm sorry, what the fuck? Wait, mom, isn't that free?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "So if I wanted to teach myself computer science, I could do that at home." I'm like, "Uh huh." Keep going. He goes, "So no, I want them to teach me this. No, no, I refuse to accept that the only way that they can do this is to put me in front of a free program that I've had to use since I was a kid in like elementary school. No." So I relayed that to the lovely individuals that own his school and run his school. Of course, I went to the top of the food chain meeting the head of the school and her husband because I know them both personally, especially her husband. I was like, "I ain't taking this shit out on anybody else. I'm just gonna let y'all know my son said what he said," and he said, "Hell no." So then it comes out that my son is now going to be learning. They're going to be starting out using Python, so he'll be blessed with that. And then he's going to be taking all of the courses that are offered through MIT to learn computer science. Why is that a win for me over this year? My son, who has historically balked at the idea of everything computer related, even though his brain is wired for it, he finally realized that he did actually like that. Now, I will put there's a difference between my son and my nephew, who my son and my nephew are a year apart, right? My nephew is the kid that will go out and use a kill switch. He'll do that. He's already been caught. I mean, like, he told me all these forums he's been playing on and all the shit. I'm like, yo, stop. Get off of there. If you're on there, at least have no less than 4 fucking VPNs running. No. No. If you get caught, you gonna fuck. you gonna get thrown in you gonna get thrown in a different level of prison, and it's not gonna be the nice kind. I married that, but, my son does not lean on that side. My son leans on the, "I'm going to say the course as, like, my mom, and I'm just going to look at data, and I'm going to show you how I can program." That's what Sawyer does. Oops, I said his name. So my son is going into computer science and taking that through MIT courses, and the first thing they're going to be working on is Python, learning how to program in Python. My little mommy heart is exploding with pride because, well, actually, I'm a little salty because I never got to learn that shit. I mean, I've taught myself, but like, I'm just stoked that my son's getting that, and I'm also stoked that that MIT promise that was made years ago has now come to fruition. And my son's taking courses and, um, taking his, computer science dual enrollment, everything through that. And, my, mommy heart is very proud of him because this is like this is this is another lesson I learned over this excruciating year, is that at every it didn't matter what people did to try and break my child. My child still said, "Fuck you. You don't get the win. This you didn't do this. My mom put that work in. I put the other work in. Those are my grades. I earned those grades. Nobody gave me those grades. I earned those grades." And again, my son's his worst enemy. He will always be competitive against himself. My daughter is the same way, and I had to tell her this week, and we had the conversation about her being dyslexic. I'm like, you're not competing against anybody other than yourself, right? You don't need to measure anything against your friends and what your friends can and or cannot do, because you can do things your friends cannot do. Ironically, Ashley's book says that, which is why I have it pinned in the comments, because that is the messaging to kids, is that just because you can't do this doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. Our brains are all wired differently. So your friend may be able to do that and it's hard for you, but you are able to do this and that's impossible for them. Thus, I mean, it's I can't thank Ashley enough for making a book for children who have been diagnosed with dyslexia that doesn't make a spin of it being like it's a superpower. It's not a fucking superpower. Ask my son and her son what they feel about that fucking messaging. My son and her son will buck at you and say "fuck off" to your face, and they don't cuss. They'll both look at you and be like, "Fuck you." It's not a superpower. Stop fucking talking about it like it's a superpower. Nobody gives a shit about you unless you have a mom like this. So my daughter, she's going to be fine. She's already in a school that I handpicked prior, j- as a just in case, because dyslexia does run in the family, and you know, as luck would have it, my just in case spidey sense, I placed her in a school that's not a specialty school, but it's a very small private school, and they have a 10-to-1 ratio. Um, they've got every teacher in the school is certified in Orton Gillingham, and they use CKLA and Amplify, which I know to be like the perfect complement to the implementation of the methodology within the classroom in a gen ed setting. So in January, my daughter will be getting 1-1 Orton Gillingham lessons, or I don't really know what to call it, because in school, an IEP is 1-1 time, like services, but she doesn't go to a school that does IEP, so they're just doing what they did with me in Gwinnett County in the 80s, and she's just getting a little extra help. And you know what? I also learned over this year is that, yeah, she gets it from me. I remember when I was a little kid, I definitely did not pick up on reading quickly. And I remember in first grade that they had to have just a little extra help with me. And then I learned to read, and I had no problem. But my daughter is identical to me. We both hate reading books for fun. That's literally the last thing we wanna do. Like, no. But that said, I have done my due diligence as a mom, well, I'm not a mom, as a human. So, like, instead of doing I remember this tedious task. They wanted us to read a fairy tale. I call it a fairy tale. Tale of Two Cities or some fuck shit. And they wanted us to do a book study, all this shit, where we had to handwrite all this. I was like, "Yeah, ain't no way in hell I'm reading that fucking book." And they're like, "You have to." I'm like, "No, I don't. It says in the syllabus I can choose other books." So instead of writing about a tale of two cities, like I instead of doing the storybook, I was writing about 1984, Fahrenheit 451. I was like giving a thorough breakdown of Jack Kerouac, Bukowski, their lives, all that's like Orwell. Like I was like giving all of that. I was 15 when I did that, and then everybody was like, "Okay, well, we just yeah, all right, you get an A." It's like, "Thank you." Doesn't mean that I'm stupid, it just means I don't like what you're assigning me. I can still do it, and I can run circles around you and everybody else in the classroom, which I did. So, yeah, that happened, and, Avery is definitely that type of child, and I do love it. But I do need to get her in check when she shows out, meaning when she's not happy with somebody. Um That's also what I've learned over the year is that my daughter is a carbon copy of me, and if she doesn't like something, and if she picks up on the fact that you don't like her, and or that you've been, behaving a certain kind of way with her, she's gonna do what she's gonna do to let you know she don't like you, and she doesn't have to use her words. She's gonna pull a stunt. And her daddy went and got her ice cream after she did it. To which I was like, "Oh, that's my baby." And I gave no shits. I was like, "Bitch, shut up. You've been fucking with my daughter all year. Get the no." And why I laugh at that, and I don't care if people want to parent shame. I don't give a fuck because here's this the s- m- that lady knew that my child had performance anxiety. She knew she had in like class. She knew she had school anxiety. All of it, all of it. I was like, if you don't leave her alone, she's gonna buck, and she's gonna make you wish you didn't do that. I warned her several times, in fact. And then the day that my daughter finds out that that teacher was not returning to her school the next year, that's the day my daughter said, "I bet you're not coming back next year. Cool, watch this." Ashley can speak to um much of a mini me move that would be because I'm like, I can't do what? Hold on, let me go do this real quick. I'll be right back. Like, "Oh, wait, you don't want me to do this? Bet. Hold on. I'm so sorry. I just to prove my point, it's like a challenge. Whenever somebody says no, that to me, I hear it in my head is, oh, well, that's a challenge. Challenge accepted. Hold on, be right back." And that's what I do. Um, I want to say that I'm not happy with the fact that I apologized to two people because I wanted to come into 2025 with no bad karma. And I apologize to two people who 100% did not deserve that apology, and I'm officially rescinding that fucking apology, so fuck y'all. Y'all never fucking deserve that shit. Won't do that again. Um, I learned that karma gonna do whatever karma wants to fucking do. I have lived my life based off karma, and because of that, I have now found myself broke, uh and in a place in life that I had never thought I would experience just because. And that's not karma. That's just a series of events that took place, and that's just people being pieces of shit. That's not karma. So I do everything out of the grace of my heart, just to make sure I don't piss karma off. I do believe karma is still there, and I do believe karma still does its thing. I mean, goddamn, Devon Horton got fucking indicted by the feds. That's some karma shit right there because he got indicted for some shit. I'm like, "Ooh, really? Well, you once you get done up there, you gotta come deal with the shit down here that you in trouble for." Sorry, not really. So, I believe in karma in that level, and I really enjoyed the "I told you so" and "fuck you, you shoulda listened," all of that. I'm gonna be petty as a motherfucker and admit to that. And then lastly, what I learned is I have spent far too much of my life arguing with idiots and fighting with people just to prove a point. I've spent too many years of my life doing that. And the one takeaway that I have is that I no longer have to prove a goddamn thing to anybody, nor do I have to engage in that fucking conversation. If I don't want to engage in that conversation, it's as easy as not fucking hitting a send button, not even typing anything out. In fact, there were several times this year I fucking nuked my social media. Took out all my fucking apps off, wiped my goddamn. I used like 3 programs to delete my fucking digital footprint, everything. Just because I was like, "I just don't really see a point in engaging. What the fuck? I'm not gonna change your mind. You've already made your fucking mind up. Nothing I say is gonna change your goddamn mind. You're set in your ways and you're just gonna, there's all this, well, people can change. Yeah, well, people also can be really fucking shitty and refuse to change. I mean, like, they know it's abhorrently like it's just fucked up. They shouldn't be okay with it, but they're never going to admit that they know that it's fucked up. That's the part that really sticks with me is that, like, they know, but then they choose not to fucking admit that they know, and then they're stuck in this position where they're like, "Well, fuck, now I gotta just own being a piece of shit because my pride won't let me say, 'Oh, I fucked up, I'm sorry.'" Which is, um, what led me into Karin's thing about courage being a privilege. Courage is a privilege. And again, as I said yesterday, it's not about sexism, it's not men versus women. Courage is a privilege because the moment that you're 10 toes down, your whole chest out saying, "I fucking dare you," right? Women are always met with a level of fuck shit that nobody else has to deal with. Women come after women who display courage. Men come after women who display courage. Because it doesn't fit their goddamn narrative and they mad. They're mad that they're not getting their way, so they're gonna come and trash and drag us because we say, "Nah, you ain't crossing this fucking line in the sand. This is what I said. I'm gonna stand on this and it's not my problem." That right there, Karin nailed it for me. That slogan of the year, courage is a fucking privilege. It is. It's a privilege. Because the moment you show your hand and refuse to jump just because somebody says jump, or the moment you say nah and you speak up and out and on behalf of those who do not have a voice, that's the moment you're going to be met with some fuck shit. And that's me to my core. I give a voice to the voiceless. That's how I was raised. That's a privilege. And within that privilege of courage, being able to be being raised to say, give a voice to the voiceless. As somebody who's lived my life like that, I can 100% tell you that, yeah, that's a privileged stance, but you're always gonna be met with somebody on the other side of that who says, "Well, I don't think you need to live your life that way. I think you need to abide by societal norms, and I think you need to do this that I say. I don't like the fact that you refuse to budge on that. And, you know, fuck it. That's on them, not me, because I ain't budging. Once I make my mind up on something and I've already got the data and I've already vetted that shit within 5 fucking minutes, you fucked. Ain't no way in hell I'm backing down. There's no way you're gonna get me to back down. And, Ashley can attest to that. My mother-in-law, who's online, she can attest to that too. I'm a stubborn person. But usually when I'm stubborn, it's because I know for a fact that there is a flawed argument right there that I can poke numerous holes in. And that's why I don't budge. And that's why I'm often called a bitch or a litany of other unflattering things. But that's okay. Um, and last but not least, what is it? I also learned over the year that um I actually am still creative. My brain, like I went back to the very thing that I used as a kid to get to the school day because I fucking hated school. It was like torture. So I always used art. That was my therapy. And that's what I am still doing. So I've spent the past year getting into my arts and crafts bag with my daughter and enjoying the ever living shit. I mean, like, dude, my husband did it. My husband, he's embroidering yesterday. He's on a play date with his friends right now where they're all doing arts and crafts. So my husband did this beautiful cross stitch embroidery that says "shit's fucked." Um, so yeah, art therapy. Go look into it. It's cathartic. It really is. So that's kind of my takeaway. But just so everyone knows, like, I'm not backing down from my fight with that fucking piece of shit district. If anything, they just gave me more ammo to say, "Nah, fuck you. You keep fucking with me like this, you're gonna end up in federal court again with me, and you're also gonna end up on the receiving end of the DOJ and the fucking FBI." And then I'll be the one that starts a class action lawsuit that you motherfuckers know I can start because you were all told that was a condition. I will keep them off of you. I wouldn't start the class action lawsuit. Well, I'm feeling a little feisty because you motherfuckers just don't know when to stop, and you keep fucking with parents and you keep being pieces of shit. And being asked to commit a felony as not once but twice, and as recently as Monday of this week, no. My 30 years of hard work do not go to you. And so I'm gonna sign off now. I'm gonna go do some arts and crafts, hopefully. I've been cleaning, I have been doing whatever the hell it is Avery wants me to do. And so I'm trying to get all the stuff ready for Christmas. Um, I don't know why I have so many fucking emails on a Saturday, but I digress, I do. I don't understand why. But yeah, that's kind of been my year, and so we're going into 2026, and I don't have any expectations. I've learned not to expect anything. I've learned that there's no point. There's no fucking point in it. Why? I I have never been one to make New Year's resolutions ever. Um, because I've learned over and over and over again that the unexpected is the only expected I can expect. So, I I guess 2026, we just gonna find out what happens. And like I said, I know one thing. I am not backing off, and I'm gonna make damn sure I take out the whole goddamn district with me if I have to. I've done it once, I'll do it again. You already missing 4 folks because of me this year. So, there's that, and I'm gonna sign off. Y'all have a what the fuck is this up here? So sorry, shiny object soon. Y'all have a good day. Bye. Is that gonna end it though? It's gotta end, but